Yes, sir.
Joining me at this time is Ring of Honor veteran, Notorious Shane Taylor. Shane, thank you so much for taking the time. You'll be able to see Shane this Saturday in Lakeland, Florida, as Ring of Honor presents Bound by Honor. For tickets and more details on that, go to rohwrestling.com. Shane, thank you so much for joining me today.
Of course, man. Thank you for having me.
So we've got a big show coming up this weekend, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about you and about your career and where things are heading for you. So it looks like you started out here on the streets of Cleveland, Ohio, in kind of a rough area, and now you find yourself center stage at Ring of Honor. What was that journey like for you?
Man, there's more words than we have time for me to talk about. Essentially, I could have very easily been a statistic. You know, you hear about so many people leading a life that I lived, you know, winding up either dead or in jail. And that could have very, very easily have been me had not, you know, I had not it been for people that were put in my path to sort of steer me away from that. And they got there sort of in the nick of time for me. And now I get to travel the world and provide for my family, doing what I love to do. And there's no better feeling than that for me, to know every morning that I wake up, no matter how bruised, no matter how, no matter how beat up, that it's all for them and for my daughter and my wife and my second daughter that's due any day now. It's the greatest feeling in the world to know that I'm going to be here for them and be able to provide for them for many, many years to come.
No, absolutely. When faced with a crossroads, you chose wrestling, and obviously the rewards have come forward in that effort. So what was it that inspired you to become a wrestler? How did wrestling enter your life?
Me and my dad would go to the Richfield Coliseum, which is in Richfield, Ohio. It's not there anymore. They tore it down. But seeing the events there live, I remember the match was Kerry Von Erich against the Warlord. You know, everybody's got that, Hogan Andre or Rock Hogan moment. Like for me, it was Kerry Von Erich and the Warlord, man. This sold out Richfield Coliseum. They went to a double count out, and the place just went absolutely bonkers. You had people throwing popcorn, throwing beer, throwing everything, and just me being in awe of what they were doing and how they were able to get a whole building of people to react that way was just incredible. And from that moment on, and before that, watching, tapes of Vader and Stan Hansen and Ron Simmons and things like that, it was something that was always just an escape for reality, for what we were doing. And I always told myself after, playing football and doing track and wrestling and things of that sort, if I ever had the chance to do it, then I would. And here we are.
No, absolutely. And just those names you mentioned are all legends in the business. Who would you say was your biggest inspiration? Like, who did you watch and say, that's who I want to be like, that's who I kind of want to model myself after?
Ron Simmons. For one reason in particular, when you watch TV, especially, being from an area that I'm from, you look for successful people that you can emulate or at least see, okay, well, if they got out of this, if they did something, then I want to see, I want to be able to do that too. You look for people that you can relate to. And Ron Simmons was the first guy, outside of Bobo Brazil, but that was before my time, that was an African-American world champion that didn't have any stereotype gimmick. He was just a hard-working dude, played college football, came in there, and beat Vader and slayed the monster. And he did that without having to shuck and jive or, tap dance or any of the other, stereotype roles that we get placed in. So to see that was very inspiring to me because it showed me that it could be done. And if you have the skill and the will to be able to stay true to yourself and do what needs to be done, then you can achieve those things. So being that sort of role model for kids that watch me, or even for adults that watch me, is something that I strive very hard to do. And I've said this in other interviews. It may be something that most people have to see a few times before they get it, but I, for one, am just tired of all the same stereotype characters. It's been done a million times. Fans are tired of it, so I want to be able to be one of those guys that bring them something new.
Well, and absolutely, Ron Simmons is a huge, huge name in the business and is a good example of what can be done in this business when you do stay true to yourself. And I do see that in your work as well. I think you would do Ron Simmons proud for sure. So you've been able to travel the world. You've worked Rev Pro, you've worked New Japan, and now recently you've signed an exclusive deal with Ring of Honor. How do you feel about that?
Man, it's incredible. Excuse me, sorry. I had one of my best friends in the world, Ray Rowe, trainer, godfather to my daughter. He brought me to as many ROH shows as he could. When he was there with Hanson, he would even have, excuse me, my daughter's getting me sick now. He would have them not fly him to places so he could drive with me, to be able to get my face seen. So one of the first people that I told, outside of my wife and my dad, was Ray, when they offered me the exclusive deal, because he was so instrumental in even me being at this point. So to be able to know that and be on this stage and have them see value in me and what I do means the world. Very, very few people ever get the chance to do what I'm doing now. So my job is to just make sure I make the most of it and keep making those who believe in me proud.
Well, you mentioned Ray Rowe, and also you've had a history with Keith Lee, both big names right now on the NXT scene. Is that a route you see yourself going in the future?
You never know what happens. Obviously, there's that is the biggest platform in the world right now. So down the line, I would love to main event a show with either one of those guys or teaming up with them or what have you. That's something that could happen, and who knows. But as of right now, my goals are to cross off all the things that I want to accomplish in Ring of Honor. And as I've said in other interviews, my goal is to establish a legacy there like Joe left, like Danielson left, like Nigel left. To be able to, with all the talent around us right now, for people to look back at my time there and go, that was Shane Taylor's era of Ring of Honor. They're doing it now with Jay Lethal. They've done it with Adam Cole, and I want to be able to have my name in that list of guys that help carry the company forward. So until I'm done doing all of that, I don't see myself going anywhere.
Well, and as of late, you've been teaming a lot with the Briscoes, Jay and Mark, and I think that's a really good start into making a mark on Ring of Honor, no pun intended. So what's it been like teaming with those guys? What's it been like being across the ring from names like Jay Lethal, and the list goes on?
I mean, you have some surreal moments because these are guys that I grew up watching, not as a kid, but, once I hit my teens and early 20s and things like that, you watch these guys and you study their tapes. So now to be standing across the ring from them or have them team up with me is mind-blowing. And the Briscoes as partners are exactly what you would think they were. They're wild dudes that like to throw hands, and they go nuts. So that's right up my alley. Anybody that steps in there with us, it's just a fight. They're going to have a fight on their hands, and we'll be more than happy to bring it to them.
Well, I've got one more question for you before we wrap up here. What advice would you give to someone who's interested in becoming a wrestler? What advice would you give to someone on the streets of Cleveland, Ohio, a young kid in a rough situation that's looking to get out? looking into wrestling, what would you say to them?
That's a good question. I would tell them, no matter how long the road looks, it's worth traveling down. You know, anybody can tell you a get-rich-quick scheme, you know, whether it be, hey, you should, be a rapper or do this or do that. What they don't tell you is most of the successful rappers are college graduates or they're art school graduates or things of that sort. So it's going to take you just as long to, be a doctor as it would to be a rapper. You know what I mean? So when you're eyeing something like this, the goal is to push. Don't take no for an answer because you're going to hear a lot of no's. Believe in yourself enough to know that you're going to be a star. Be able to take constructive criticism. Know the difference between that and people just trying to bring you down. Keep yourself around the right people, and no matter what, just keep busting your ass until you make it. Because the other choices you have only continue the cycles of BS that happen in society now. So live your dream, bust your ass, and prove to people why you're worth their time.
Well, you can see stars like Shane Taylor and the rest of the Ring of Honor roster at Bound by Honor this Saturday in Lakeland, Florida at the RP Funding Center. Shane, thank you so much for your time today, and I hope your daughter's feeling better.
Thank you as well. Hopefully. Yeah, she's got a little fever and a little cough, but she'll be okay. She's tough.
If you're interested in winning tickets to this weekend's Bound by Honor event, Turnbuckle Trash Talk has a special gift prize pack. We are giving away 2 pairs of tickets to the event, as well as a Turnbuckle Trash Talk t-shirt and 2 Turnbuckle Trash Talk stickers. If you want to win those prizes, all you have to do is go on Facebook or Twitter, like us or follow us, share the post or retweet the post, and then record a short video of you giving your best Black Machismo, Jay Lethal, or Ric Flair impersonation in honor of Jay Lethal's record-setting reign as Ring of Honor World Champion. So just go to Facebook, facebook.com/Turnbuckle Trash Talk, or Twitter @TB Trash Talk, and check out the post, follow the instructions, and you could win 2 tickets to Ring of Honor Bound by Honor.